Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I live in Mountain Village, Colorado, and I want to pitch a new concept here that's actually about a year or two old, maybe about 4 or 5 years old technically, called the American Environmental Scouts of America. It's an organization that's a splitting mirror image of the Boy and Girl Scouts of America. Has the same high standards. The Scoutmasters have to have high standards primarily, be ethical, moral individuals, be very mainstream, not radical to the right or radicals to the left. And this organization would consist of kids from maybe about 7 to 17 years old. That would be the age group of the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. And I was in both. I was both a Cub Scout and Boy Scout, obviously. And their main mission is to teach kids about the environment. You don't have to be a left-wing radical to care about the environment. I would love to see the smog and all the cities go away. I would love to see all the rivers and ponds and oceans clean. I would love all to see more trees sprout up everywhere. I would love all this stuff. I would love to see the environment be perfect. I'd love to see the preservation of all the wildlife. I love wildlife. I do get bothered when I see a lot of environmental destructions in the world. It bothers me immensely. The problem is that it's just a matter of how to deal with it is where the issue really lies. The radicals want to do it in ways that are not, where they take money from you, but they don't have any proof that that money is going to be put to good use. Like in Copenhagen right now. And we all know what happens when you give a bunch of some people money. They misuse it, or they lie to get it, and or they'll steal to get it, and then they use it for everything but what they're supposed to use it for, kind of like the NEA. Anyhow, the American Environmental Scouting Organization, our troops, would be something that could help possibly save the environment in the future by teaching kids about it, how to defend it, preserve it, what steps needed to make sure that we have clean water, clean air, and they may be the ones one day to really save it. They may be the ones that will go into Congress, become CEOs of major corporations, and they will remember what they have been taught, and that lesson might just be enough to save us. But again, they would do it and would be taught in a responsible manner, not in a radical manner. That's the difference. These are children here. These are kids who are very impressionable, and they need to be taught in a way that's, again, very mainstream. There can be no politics involved. There can be no preaching or teaching of anything that resembles hatred, because some radicals to the right and to the left, they preach a lot of hatred. They don't think they do, but they do. And they teach people to hate anyone that doesn't believe as they do, or agree with them on anything, kind of like Al Gore. So if you wanted to start your own American Environmental Scouting Organization in your own local community, if you're a mainstreamer, first of all, you need to find a way to create a handbook. Maybe somebody out there that has the financial means could put together an environmental handbook. I don't have that means to do that. Of course, you have to have a uniform. You have to create a uniform. You have to have scoutmasters. You have to have people that have some knowledge of the environment. And if they don't, then they have to sit down each week, go on the computer, learn about the environment, things that they can teach these kids. And of course, you would prefer most of it come out of the books. You have to learn the handshake. You have to learn the motto, like the Boy Scout motto. You create things like that. Of course, then you have to have the scoutmasters and the kids. You have yourself a scouting troop. Then you have to finance it. You finance it by maybe starting off with local communities, donating money to the organization or your organization. Scouts pay dues. They have to buy their own uniforms, things like that. Bring their own food on the scouting trip, their own tents and things like that, just like I did when I was a scout. And when you take them out on the scouting trips, you teach them, have a lesson prepared about the environment. But you have to make it a lot of fun. You have to make it exciting. Don't be like some boring English teachers that I had who would just bore you to death in school. And that's why I'm a member of the Elks Lodge, but I don't even go anymore because it's just as boring as it can get. They have no creativity. They do nothing that makes you even want to come there. And that's what's a problem with a lot of our schools and a lot of organizations in America. They're just a boring, dull place. No, make it an exciting adventure for these kids where they can have fun and learn at the same time, but it's done in a very moral, mainstream, and ethical manner, and have high morals for your troops. You don't put any politics into it at all. You're just out there to teach them about the environment in a very mainstream manner. The Boy Scouts taught me a little bit about the environment, but they did it in a mainstream manner. They didn't teach much, though. This organization is going to go further than the Boy and Girl Scouts. They're going to go a little bit further than what they did. But again, mainstream is the key word here. So if you want to start your own, there's nothing to prevent you from doing so if you have the means to do it. And you could be the first American to do so, and hopefully this organization will become a worldwide phenomenon before long. I think in America there's been over 110 million Boy Scouts since its creation, I think in the early, around 1913, or it may have been as far as back as 1896. But there's been about 110 million Boy Scouts. That's a lot. This organization could one day have maybe even more. So anyway, in conclusion, I will try to begin my own scouting troop after I move from from where I live at now. I'm hoping to move by April of next year, and if I have the means, I may start my very first one myself, because I don't have much faith that anyone else is going to step up to the plate and do it. But I hope you will, and I hope you will get people in your community together and say, let's do this. Let's make it a reality. Thank you for your time, and I hope this inspired you some a little bit.